let's get started. Let me tell you about what these classes are, who I am, what I do, that sort of thing. I teach drawing fundamentals both online and at an animation school. And these classes are my attempt to create a teaching experience that is as similar to what you'd get in the classroom as I can for free. So these are one offs, so they don't build like they do in a college class. Um, but they are at the pace that I would do a college class. So as opposed to a YouTube video where it's just one way, the video gives you information and you either learn it or you don't. I want these to be more conversational because I think that's how people learn best is not just receiving information but a back and forth. So I can make sure I'm explaining it in a way that you understand it that makes sense to you in your thought structure. So if you have something to say, please just say it. Don't worry about interrupting me. Don't worry about being rude. In real life classes, I can see people's faces, so I have social cues to know when to stop talking and let other people talk, or if they're look confused, that sort of thing. I don't have that online, so just interrupt me. Don't worry about being rude. If you don't want to talk on the mic or you're on YouTube, just type in the chat and I'll respond there. Today, we're going to talk about learning to draw on social media. So, YouTube tutorials, Reddit. I guess people are on Twitter with tutorials. People get tutorials from Pinterest, all that kind of stuff. Basically, if it's a place where anybody can post and there's art tutorials, this is what I'm talking about. So, this one is a class that I really want to have a back and forth of. I want to have a back and forth on all of these classes, but especially this one because social media is catered to you. So my experience with social media is going to be different than your experience with social media. Also, I'm coming to this from a very different place because I learned to draw before social media really existed. So I did learn to draw some stuff online, but I mostly learned to draw the old school way from books, from real life teachers, and just good old fashioned trial and error. Not that I've never learned anything from the internet. I've learned plenty of stuff from the internet, but I already had a pretty solid base when I started to approach this. So my experience is going to be very different from somebody who is a beginner starting with social media. So let me throw this to you guys. What are your experiences learning to draw online through social media or other stuff?
Um, Hi, my name is Gogo, and I started learning how to draw this year. And I was just, cause my friends told me that I should look at textbooks, but I don't really have the attention span or the time for all that. So I just went on YouTube and was started following tutorials and like copying and pasting things I liked on Pinterest and stuff. But it's
Okay.
been like very low commitments, cause like there's nobody telling me, "Oh, do this at this time," you know.
Mm.
So it's like I do when I feel like doing it. But I'm trying to build a habit and be more consistent with it because it's something I want to get better at doing.
Hmm. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it is a low barrier of entry, so that is a plus. It makes it easier. So let's start by thinking about what social media is for. Because I think a lot of oh, hold on. My experiences have been kind of a mixed bag. You really have to search for information that helps with your mentality, not just quick tips, even if it's not as well known. Yeah, I agree with that. Um, so let's start by talking about what social media is for, why we're on here, why these platforms exist, just to begin with. Um, so why does social media exist? Before I answer, let me give you guys a chance to think about it yourself, and feel free to jump in and answer if you want. Why does social media exist? Does Google, Facebook, Reddit, why do they pay for their web presence and all that stuff?
To sell you stuff.
to sell you stuff. Yeah, exactly. It's advertisement. That's why these exist. So, art tutorials on social media exist so that platforms can make money off of ads. And understanding that incentive is really important because that frames how everything else works. People respond to incentives. It's unavoidable. Like people make clickbait thumbnails because they work. Um, actually, speaking of clickbait thumbnails, I'm tired of staring at this. I'm going to do a little bit of value studies while I talk. So this isn't a video of a still screen and me in the corner talking. Um, but it's hard to talk and draw at the same time. So bear with me if it get a little off sometimes. So yeah, the incentive is for advertisement. So the incentive is to keep you watching, to keep you clicking, and to keep you on the content. The incentive is not to get you better at drawing. Whether or not you get better at drawing is pretty much irrelevant to the social media companies. I guess it matters a little bit because never, if you get no value from it, you would probably stop going. But they're not in any way trying to serve you the best content or the most helpful to get you better at drawing. They're trying to serve you the stuff that it thinks that you'll watch. So people blame algorithms when they're talking about social media, like, oh yeah, I can't. Nobody looks at my art because of the algorithm. Nobody watches my videos because of the algorithm. And I don't like that thinking because all the algorithm does is serve viewers what they're most likely to watch. Not necessarily what they want. Like you might want the best, most insightful, the most useful information on learning to draw, but if you watch, um, say, streamers yelling about video games or some kind of drama trash, whatever, people talking about the drama in the art community, that's what it's going to give you. It's going to give you what you watch or what it thinks you want to watch, which is based on what you watch and what viewers who watch the things that you watch also watch. So it's not designed to help you get better at drawing. That's the first thing. So we have a incentive mismatch, which is where all the other problems come from. So who watches art tutorials online? Because it's going to give you stuff that the people who watch videos like you also watch. So who watches art tutorial videos online?
People that want to learn art,
People
drawing,
who
or
want to
whatever
learn.
they.
Yeah. And those people are mostly going to be beginners. That's
Yeah.
the way it is with any hobby. You have people who start. So you have like it's like a funnel, right? You have people who start, and most people who start quit pretty soon, and then as you get up in experience, you get less and less people who actually stuck around. Um, and I'm not blaming people for quitting stuff. I get it. You know, art's not for everybody. Some people thought it was going to be easier than it was, or it just didn't click for them. But the point is that wide bottom of beginners, that's where the views are coming from on art tutorials. So the algorithm responds to what people like you or people who watch the things that you watch also watch. So you're getting what beginners are watching. That's what the algorithm will serve you if you watch uh, tutorials on YouTube. And it makes a lot of sense from a business to from a business sorry, I lose my train of thought if I'm think about the drawing too much. It makes sense from an advertising business standpoint to show what people are most likely going to watch. But does it make sense from a you learning perspective to watch what beginners click on?
Maybe to one extent, like the fundamentals are the fundamentals, right?
Yeah,
If you never get out of there.
that would be true. Um, but that assumes that the beginners know what to look for.
Yeah.
So yeah, like starting you with beginner content or as content targeted towards beginners is definitely the right idea if you're new to drawing. But the problem is that it's you're not starting with what people who know how to draw think is the beginner stuff. You're watching what beginners choose. So beginners don't know what they don't know. It's basically like you if this was a class, this would be like the topics of the class are chosen by the first year students. Like as soon as the students show up, they start telling the teacher what to teach. Does that sound like a very good class to you?
No.
No. But that's what YouTube is. So, and not just YouTube, but anything that's algorithmically choosing its sources. So that's probably the biggest problem, right? Is that you're getting what beginners are choosing instead of what's actually going to be most likely to help you. Um, and it's tricky, right? Like as a beginner, you don't know what you don't know. I'm not trying to shame beginners for not understanding, for not knowing what to focus on, because why would they? But they're the ones who are deciding what comes up in your algorithm for a large part. So here's a question that I think is really important. When you're deciding what to watch, what videos to look at, what tutorials to look at, anybody can post on there. So how do you and lots of people on there who are making content aren't actually that good at drawing, or maybe they're good at drawing but they're not good at teaching. So how do you decide who is worth listening to? Especially if you're a beginner. And this is a hard question. This is not rhetorical. I really do want to hear your thoughts on this.
Maybe from reviews, like when you watch a video, you check the comments, and you're just like, you interact with the people, and you see how they have used the content to like get better at drawing or notes, and how they are also engaging with it, and how like easy it is for them to like navigate the exercises and stuff and figuring it out. 'Cause like if
That makes
generally everybody is getting that, you know it's like a beginner thing, versus if a lot of people are having issues with it, then you know it's probably like intermediate or like something that's harder than your skill sets.
mm, that makes a lot of sense. Um, what about not free content like offline classes that you buy? That's a different topic. If I'll circle back to it if I have time. Um, because that's a different incentive structure. Oh man, I was trying to find useful ones. It helps to check the video comments and the video length. But also, what really helped me was to join servers with some really great artists. People tend to share the same resources. Yeah, that's a trusting community, trusting people who actually know how to draw to help you. That's a very good solution. And comments are useful, but comments kind of suffer from the same problem of just the algorithm in general, that the people commenting are mostly beginners as well. Um, if beginners don't understand something, that might not mean it's bad content. It might mean it's just a little bit more advanced. And if you are a beginner, that is useful to not go for advanced stuff right away. That is a right decision. Um, but there's also a problem that a lot of stuff um, there's a lot of stuff online that how would I put this? It makes you feel like you're learning to draw. It gives you information, you understand that information, then you don't get any better at drawing from it. And people really like that stuff. It, because you feel like you're getting what you want. Um, so that's kind of a limit of checking the comments as well. But I do think that is a good strategy overall. Um, well, I'm glad that that's hello. I'm glad that that's you guys do seem to have good strategies. Um, Sometimes I wonder, if people think, and you guys, I want to know what you think of this. If people think that if somebody has more views or more subscribers, then they know what they're talking about or they're doing good work teaching. Um, does anybody subscribe to that belief?
No, I don't.
No?
No.
I mean, you're going to
Okay.
find a bit of survivorship bias in the server, right? Because people that look for more personal guidance are going to land on a Discord server like this, right?
Mhm. That's true. I know you guys are not a representative sample of people who do uh, internet comments. So that's a good point. Um, yeah, I'm glad that you guys don't think that because that's again like being able to make videos that feel like you're learning without actually teaching something and then getting a lot of subscribers. I don't want to bash on people making content online, but there are definitely I'm not going to name any names, but there are definitely some that I've seen where the advice is really questionable and the art that they're doing isn't very good, but they get a ton of traffic because they're good at YouTube. They're good at video editing, they're good at making the curiosity stuff in the titles and the thumbnails and stuff like that. So they get a lot of views and a lot of subscribers, but their stuff isn't actually going to help you very much. No, I don't personally. Some of the best teachers I've learned from didn't have many views or spiked at one point. Yeah. So let me talk about this a little bit more. I think we've gotten the problems of incentives out. I'd be willing to pay for a teacher to teach me privately, but you don't know who's good for you really. Yeah, that's definitely true as well. That's a separate subject that we'll circle back to. If we have time, because right now I'm focusing on the social media aspect of it, how you find these people. Um, it's like you have to pay so much to realize one day, oh, it's not right. Okay, I'm gonna flag that right now. Um, a good teacher or like tutorial service will give you at least will give you some content for free. Um, Ideally, also like a free class or something, so that you know what you're getting before you have to commit. Um, if if they want you to pay a whole bunch of money up front, that's maybe they're well established and you're sure, but like that's a pretty big red flag, right? Because what are they hiding? Like as a tutor myself, I want like this is why I do these free classes. I want you to know what I do. That's my selling point. Like I want you to know that what I'm doing and what you're getting. I think that benefits me more than it hurts me. But if you need to pay a bunch of money to find out what you're getting, why is that? Why would you not want to show what you have before people or to like advertise? I know that it's work, but still, advertising is part of doing business. Um, okay, so let me explain this from my perspective as somebody who has made tutorial content on social media. Um, posted a lot on Reddit, like tutorials that people read through on Reddit. I've posted a lot. I haven't made that many YouTube videos, but I've made some. I've made more than 10. Um, because I have to respond to incentives as well. So why is every video on YouTube clickbait? Because that's what people click. We have to respond to incentives just like everybody else. I've made a video course that's free on YouTube, and it's the thumbnails tell you exactly what is in every video, and they get way less attention than something where I use what's called a curiosity hook. It tells you that there's something that is going to make you better at drawing, but it doesn't tell you what that thing is. And this works online, but it's frustrating as all hell. Um, I I wish it didn't work. I wish you could just list what was in the video, because that's what I want when I'm looking for stuff.
Yeah.
But the algorithm and the algorithm responds to what people click on. People click on the curiosity link. Um, so one of the things that um, one of the problems with learning from social media is that it feels very disconnected. Like everything has to be one to make a video that people will to make a video that people will watch all the way through, or at least through enough of it, you kind of have to cover one idea. And you have to sell that idea every time. So it has to be this new big thing that's going to change the way you draw, even though in reality, there isn't one idea that's going to make a massive change to how you draw. So you end up with a bunch of disconnected subjects, and then the algorithm gives you the next thing that spikes your curiosity, and you go to that, and the next thing that you go to that, and you go down a rabbit hole of a whole bunch of different topics and never really get in depth into any of them or understand how they're connected, which is obviously not ideal. So, hold on, I'm just moving my next subject on my desk. So what ends up, so yeah, what I was trying to get to as a teacher, YouTube is actually a pretty terrible way for me to teach. Like if I make good, informative content that's not entertaining or clickbaity, it doesn't get very much attention. I have to sell the whole time. I have to get through stuff really quickly because people don't have attention spans, and YouTube kind of fries your attention span. Which is why I like these classes where I can actually like teach at a normal speed and get into the intricacies of subjects. And I can't go if I do stuff that's doesn't appeal to beginners, it gets buried. If I cover a lot of theory, it instead of like something that feels very emotionally satisfying, it gets buried. And this isn't me complaining about the algorithm. This is just the way it works. We have to have mass appeal. Most people who get into drawing aren't going to put in the work to get good. Again, this isn't me being elitist. This is just reality. It takes a lot of work to get good. There isn't a step-by-step tutorial or a secret or whatever that's going to save you the years it takes if you want to draw characters from your imagination or anything like that. It's really hard. There's no way around it. People don't want hard. Most people don't want things to be hard, which is, very understandable. I don't want things to be hard either, but they are. So there's no way for me to give you honest instruction that's easy. If I could make it easy, I would. So as a
Can you
teacher,
compare like learning how to draw from imagination or like drawing from general if you like weren't born with the talent to like working out or um just like working out in general or like exercising and like cause like you see on social media somebody posts their progress and like in a year cause like you can cheat gym gains steroids but like you
mhm,
can't really cheat being a better artist or craftsman,
mhm.
can you?
No, no. Um, yeah, I think that actually is a very good parallel to the YouTube fitness stuff, which is some content I have consumed a decent amount of, even though it's hard because it suffers from all the same problems. Um, so first of all, talent is real, but it's not the determiner of talent determines the high end, not the low end. So like I've met people who are really talented and they go further than everybody else, but everybody who gets to they don't get further than everybody else without a lot of hard work. Like talent is what separates the people who do a ton of hard work, or talent is what separates the best of the people who do a lot of hard work from the rest of us who do a lot of hard work. There is no talent that avoids that amount of hard work that's necessary for everybody to get good. And I think that everybody can get at least good, at least decent by putting in the effort. I don't think there's like a required talent gene or something that would stop people from getting better. But yeah, the fitness thing is kind of similar. Like it's people who are very shredded, probably using some kind of gear, trying to sell you cheats. Whereas if you went to any competent personal trainer, they would just show you how to do the basics. But videos that just show you how to do the basics don't do as well because it takes a long time to get in shape using the basics. It takes a lot of discipline and hard work. And people don't want to do that. Most people don't want to do that. Same thing with art. Um, when I make videos that explain the basics, like this is value, this is how you use value, it's going to get way less than if I say the thirty secrets that art studios don't want you to know, art schools don't want you to know. Um, just side note, art schools aren't hiding. We're not hiding any information. It's all out there. Um, and if it's not that we don't want you to know stuff, we do want you to know stuff. That's why we teach it to you. Um, okay, I think I went off on a tangent and I forgot where I was going. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the problems. Let's talk about the solutions. So, paying a teacher or paid content is a good solution, but let's focus because that comes with other problems of like how do you know the content is good before you pay for it, that kind of thing. Um, so the thing that or the biggest things. Oh wait, no, sorry. There was one more. Sorry, I am kind of all over the place. I apologize. There is one more thing. The real danger of YouTube and tutorials in general, again going back to the incentives, is their incentive is to keep you consuming and keep you watching so that it can sell you ads. But you don't get better at drawing by watching videos or reading tutorials about drawing. You get better at drawing by drawing. Those tutorials can help you decide what to do when you're drawing, which can help you get better. But watching them will never, you could watch all of the videos for your entire life. If your pen doesn't touch the page, you're not going to get any better at drawing. So um, I think what gets a beginner into art is important as well. A peer of mine got into drawing to be able to get views from people, and they question why they don't get views. They're barely starting. Yeah, yeah, that's true too. I would say that's more of a separate topic. But yeah, if you don't appreciate the craft, it's going to be really hard. If you want the reward more than you want to enjoy doing the thing, it's going to be hard because you don't get the reward for a long time. Like you gotta work for being bad for a while. Um, anyway, so these social media companies, they do a lot of research and put a lot of money into keeping you on the platform, making it as addictive as possible. So that is actively hurting your ability to draw if you fall into that, because instead of doing what will actually help you, which is drawing, you're watching videos about drawing. And the really dangerous part is you can feel like you're being productive when you're not. Okay, so that's the problems. Sorry that got so rambly, but let's talk about the solutions. And you've already mentioned some of them. So go having people who know how to draw give you information. That's a great one. Um, and that touches on, there's three things. Hold on, let me use a better brush. The three main things that you don't get from social media. So, structure, experience, and feedback. If you figure out how to get these, then you can make social media useful. So structure is the big one. And I talked about this, or I touched on this before, how you'll get a whole bunch of videos about a whole bunch of different topics, like 10 minutes at a time for one. So like 10 minutes of color theory, 10 minutes of drawing boxes, 10 minutes of some random stuff about characters that may or may not be useful. None of it connects. So it's confusing. You don't know what to do. And this is the worst of it, because this actually makes learning to draw harder, because then you're getting this information overload, and none of it really sticks, because for stuff to stick, it needs context. So structure is how you organize that knowledge. And you're very rarely going to find that on social media. There's no incentive for it. That's that kind of thing that requires discipline that the majority of beginners who are going to quit anyway, they don't want to hear about that. They don't want to hear how to structure a huge amount of information. They want to get good now. So where do you get structure? Ideally from a teacher, but we're in the realm of free or low cost for this lecture. So books. Good books have to organize information. They have tables of contents and ideas that are all listed, and they show how those ideas connect. And once you have that structure, then social media actually becomes a lot more useful, because you can look up specific things. So if you're learning about perspective, you can watch a video about how to place vanishing points. You're probably not going to stumble on that video from the algorithm as a beginner. But if you know what you're looking for, there's lots of great stuff on there. And you won't be as confused by it, because you'll know where it fits in. And besides books, just thinking about it as you do this, thinking about the structure, So instead of just watching a bunch of disconnected topics, maybe write about it. Write down how these are connected. That sort of thing. Experience is putting in the actual work. And there are channels that will give you exercises to do. So you can find it on social media, but in general, most don't. So this is more of a filter for anything else. And this is a problem with books too. It's not just social media, but filtering for channels that tell you what to do when you're studying. So you can actually get that experience. And then feedback is the last thing. And D-Box on YouTube, he explained this well, that he joins servers with experienced artists. And that helps a lot. So feedback is tricky on social media because you have to know where to look and you have to be selective. So a lot of people just go to Reddit and slap their beginner art on there and they say, how do I improve? This is not a good strategy. One, Reddit is a dumpster fire. Reddit is full of beginners and intermediates who think they're way better at drawing than they are and give a lot of terrible advice. There are like legit good artists who give good advice, but if you don't already know the stuff, you don't have that filter to know what's good advice and what's terrible advice. You can't see their artwork. So it's just like this little username telling you to draw more boxes or something. Like who knows if that person knows what they're talking about. A lot of the comments are just regurgitating stuff from other teachers without context that it seems like they don't fully understand themselves. The other problem is you're not specific on what improvement means because art is not, it's not linear. It's not like this is good, this is bad. You get from good to bad by getting better on this scale. Ultimately you decide what's good. Like there's lots of art that people love that I don't particularly care for, and there's lots of art that I like that's not as popular. And same is true for everybody else. Like you have to decide what good means to you. Or, there's the gray areas as well. And sure, having better technical abilities will probably make it easier to make good art, but there's plenty of very technically competent art that still I don't find very interesting. So where can you get better advice? I think our Discord here is pretty good. I think we get a lot of people give very good advice here, and people who are giving advice are usually also posting their drawings, so you have an idea of what they're talking about. And I do a lot of critique, and I'm a professional teacher, so hopefully that means you can trust me. I also have a free book, so you can see that I did all the illustration for, so you can see that I actually do know how to draw and I know what I'm talking about. Besides that, finding good communities, that's about the best you're going to get for free. If you want somebody who has teaching experience or like supervising experience in an industry role to give you feedback, you probably have to pay them unless you know them personally. Which is not to say that you shouldn't reach out and try, but if they're strangers, it's pretty likely they're not going to respond. A lot of people will. It depends how you approach them, recognizing that you're asking a favor, being really nice about it. Some people will actually, like I've had some people give me feedback before, but now I know people, so I don't have to do that anymore. Okay, I've been talking for a while. I'm all over the place. This is a less structured class than they usually are. Usually I have a clearer topic that I want to hit, and it's something that I'm more of an expert in. Um, this was more experimental. So how about you guys? What have you found that helps you find better content on social media? How to get the stuff that you actually want?
Well, for me, I mean, we had a bit of a talk before particular started, right? But for me, like the way I learn is banging my head against the wall, like
Hmm.
keep trying, and I fail, and then trying to see, okay, what, like, what is so like starting with. Obviously, you have to go further, right? But starting with, okay, what is the thing that with the less amount of effort or the less amount of changes is going to improve this the most,
Hmm.
right? Like the thing that is going to be the smallest um, change that is going to impact the end result the most, right? Like if you
Hmm.
have amazing rendering, but the perspective is all wrong, right? That's the thing, right? Like trying to find this and then looking very specific information about that, trying to fix it the next time, or like on the same drawing or whatever,
Hmm.
and like building like this. This is like how I do it.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's a very good strategy, and that is something I should mention is that um, you can't really understand things about drawing without actually doing the drawing.
Yeah.
Um, so if you're struggling and you know that something's wrong, you're trying to figure out what, that's actually, or you know what you need to improve on, that's actually where social media can be very useful because you can look up specifically what you're talking about, and you have some kind of structure here, even if it's not as clear as you might have with a book. You have structure in the sense that you you understand where this information should be applied because you're
Mhm.
trying to apply it yourself. Um, yeah, that's a point about teaching that I make on here pretty often is that you don't learn to draw and then draw. You learn to draw as you draw. So, like, no matter what tutorials you watch, you still have to do the thing. And it actually makes sense if you tutorials actually help you a lot more if you've tried to do the thing and you ran into problems. So then the tutorial is a solution to the problem instead of having to be like instead of just being abstract ideas about drawing. Yeah, that's a really good point. Thanks for sharing that. So I did say, and again, feel free to interrupt me if you have anything else. I did say I would touch on paid content, how to know if paid content is any good. Um, I've found paid content to be very hit or miss in my experience, and I have a pretty good idea of what to filter for because, like, when I'm paying for content, I'm looking for specific information, and I know what that information is that I'm looking for, and I can usually assess if the thing's going to have it. Um, so if you didn't know that, it would be hard. And I find that a lot of them are pretty underwhelming. Like a lot of the times they don't even edit them. Like there's you get these video classes where there's all these ums and ahs at live speed, which is fine when you're like in a situation like this where it's live and you can ask questions. But when I'm watching video that's asynchronous, just edit that shit out. It's unpleasant. I want to fast forward so we can get to the actual content. Um,
I have a question.
yeah.
How do you stay like consistent with practice? Because I find that for myself, not necessarily because of like I don't want to, but because I get bored.
Hmm.
Because like when you're practicing regularly and like it looks like fucking shit, excuse my language.
No.
right? Because like you're not that
I,
good at it. And
yeah.
like it just demotivates you and it's just like how can I actually keep going and like love what I'm doing or even like it when what I'm seeing versus what's in my head is like two completely different things.
Right. Um, so I have a whole class on this on the Discord server. It's called Mindsets for Success or Mindsets for Growth, something like that. So I'll just do a quick summary because I do need to wrap soon. Um, the the overarching idea is that you want to shift your definition of success because um, that's a great point. Honestly, I think. Sorry, just reading a chat. Honestly, I think too when you accept that no matter what you use, what's important is that you have a problem-solving mindset and are curious. Yeah, totally agree. Sorry. So you want to shift your definition of success because when you're a beginner, your art's going to look like shit. It's just the reality of it. This is hard. Nobody's good right away. Um, so what you want to shift your definition from short term, like I'm going to do this good drawing today, to long term. I'm going to be awesome at this stuff in 3 to 5 years, which I know it's not probably not what anybody wants to hear as a beginner, but that's a more realistic timeline of how long it takes to get good. And you can reframe success to anything that's moving you in the direction of being good 3 to 5 years from now. So if you're studying and your drawing sucks, it's still a success because you're learning from what you're doing. And then studying is also a success. Like you can make weird drawings when you're studying. That's a success because you're moving towards that long term goal. Um, and because you need to have those wins, right? You need to feel like, oh, this is actually working. Um, so your win can just be being consistent. Your win can be I decided I was going to do 2 hours of drawing this week. Um, and I mean, even for a beginner, that maybe that's a lot. I was going to do 10 minutes 3 times a week. You do those 10 minutes 3 times a week, that's a success. You hit your goal. Congratulations. You get that win. You get that feel good success that moves you in the right direction. Next week, do 3 15-minute sessions and then keep raising the bar. Um, yeah, so that's my solution.
And can I add something, and then you say if it's a good idea or not? Something that helped me because I don't think usually about like the success thing, right? Like it's knowing the success or a failure for me, so I get what they are coming from.
Mhm.
I feel the same, but what like I have a small ugly sketchbook that helped me get used to see my bad drawings and not get frustrated by them.
Mhm.
And it's like a sketchbook that I only use when it's zero effort time. Like I'm working or something, I have like 5 minutes. I just throw a sketch, and it's going to be ugly. Like I have no pretensions, right? It's expectations, managing the expectations,
Mhm.
and it helped me. It's not like for me, it didn't change what's the view of success, but it just got me used to seeing my ugly drawings. So now when I'm trying to do something serious or whatnot, and it's not coming as well as I wanted, it doesn't affect me because I'm used to seeing worse. I don't know,
Yeah,
like it might not work for everyone, but
I think that's a good point too. That um, getting used to making bad drawings is part of it. Like I've been a pro for more than a decade. I still make bad drawings. I mean, look at this one on the screen. This is not great by any stretch, but it's whatever. Like I'm used to it. So that's part of it too. Is just getting used to making bad drawings and understanding that making bad drawings is doesn't mean you're a bad artist. Everybody does it. Drawing is hard, and you get better at it, and you can make make better drawings more often, but you never stop making bad drawings. It's part of it. Especially anytime you're doing something new, you want to push outside of your comfort zone, it's going to be bad at first. So the only way to never make bad drawings is to like find a comfort zone and only do that. And that sounds pretty lame to me. So I do have to wrap. I have a mentorship student coming in 4 minutes, so I gotta get prepared for that. Before I do, let me. So first of all, thanks for coming. This was fun. I'm sorry I was kind of rambly. I don't. I don't have a script for these, so I had some points I wanted to hit. I think I got them. Got them eventually. That's the trade-off of these being conversational.
Sorry, before you leave, I can't find the mindsets channel.
It's in the class recordings. It's
Thank you.
you probably have to go back a little bit. This was a great session. Thank you. I mean,
It's good to include it
credit
too,
for
right?
you too. You helped to make this a great session. Um, let me plug my stuff. So, like I said, I teach drawing fundamentals online and at an animation school. If you want to learn from me, I have a free textbook and a free course. Those links are in the description and in the description on YouTube and in the resources on the Discord. If you're watching on YouTube, we'd love to have you on the Discord. There should be a link for that as well. We have a really, really great community here. I'm so proud of the people that we've got. It's all positive. We're all trying to get better. There's no drama. If somebody starts drama, I boot them. So there's no drama. And the best thing I have to help you learn to draw is mentorship, where I teach one-on-one. And this is, not free like the course or the textbook, but got to make money somehow. And that's the fastest way. So instead of having to figure all the stuff out from the resources, I'll just tell you what you need to work on. You do the work. I review your work. You get better. Yeah. Thanks everybody for coming out. And we do these every week at Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, -8 UTC. And hopefully I get to see you all in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.